My home run call today is going to be that in Nelson Cruz, the boomstick as they like to call him. He gets to take on Bubic to open up this game, and Nelson Cruz is just absolutely dangerous against
level when he pitches. There's a ball hit to left, deep to left, and that ball is gone off the facing of the second deck. Cruz hitting his 7th of the year, and the Twins take the first lead.
Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 11-game slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, I have released some new features on my Patreon package that I just want to go ahead and show you guys real quick. I've added this hot hitters tab you'll see with StatCast data. And so what this is going to allow you to do is to go in and figure out the hottest hitters around the league. You can see, we can sort this sheet by barrel percentage, max exit velocity, average exit velocity, and then you have the batted ball events and the plate appearances, and hard hit and barrels, all this stuff. Go ahead and figure out the hottest hitters around the league. And I've added this to the Patreon package. I think it's a really cool tool that's going to help you guys out a lot if you're interested. And then, moving further along, you'll also get access to my cheat sheet right here. You'll see I break down the top plays in each price range on FanDuel and DraftKings. And then I have my power rankings, which is my top 3 plays at each position, regardless of salary. So this is just guys I've dug into and are in really good spots I really like that I want you to get in your lineups. And then you'll also gain access to my pitcher data sheet. So a quick little promo there. Have added the hot hitter StatCast data tab. I think that's really cool. I think that's going to be helpful. And if you're interested, the link to my Patreon packages will be in the description. You can follow me over on Twitter at KJK_DFS. And then lastly, before we start getting into things, if you could please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified on any new videos. If you're liking the content, you're going to be coming back. Please do that. It'll help me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. I want this channel to grow. And I greatly appreciate you tuning in on a regular basis. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. And first, as always, we're going to want to look at the pitchers we're going to want to target. And we do that by looking at strikeout rates. We play fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the first guy that stands out today is that in Blake Snell, taking on the New York Yankees. He's got that 32.5% K rate. He's Blake Snell. He's got elite stuff. He's got 16.1% swinging strike rate. Against righties, he gets a 32.1% strikeout rate, and then against lefties, he's got the 34.1. So he's Blake Snell. He's good across the board. And he's taking on a New York Yankees lineup today that while they can slug, they do strike out a ton. So got to like some Blake Snell today. The only thing to keep an eye on is the pitch limitations. They've been real careful with him. I'm not sure if they're going to have any today. Keep an eye out for that. If you're a Patreon member of mine, keep an eye on the Discord chat, and I'll notify you of that. And then to anyone else, I'll try to tweet out as much as possible. But just keep an eye on the news. But Blake Snell, first spot of interest today. You got to have interest in him. And second on the list is that in Cookie Carlos. Comes in with a 29.3% K rate. Really good across the board. You can see he's got that 3.23 Sierra. Has a 30.5% strikeout rate against righties and then a 28.1% against lefties. So he's just really good across the board. And when looking at the Pittsburgh lineup that he's taken on today, he comes in at as a 212 favorite, and he's 9-9 on DraftKings compared to Blake Snell's 9-5. So that could be maybe a reason not to go there if you want to go down to the Blake Snell. But Cookie's still a guy you got to have a lot of interest in, and he's taking on this Pittsburgh team today who has their fair share of strikeouts in the lineup, and he can definitely go out there and get the job done for you. So, he's definitely the second guy that I'm promoting today as far as popping off the page. And then moving further along, the third guy that we have to mention we're going to go ahead and give you a cheaper guy and a guy with upside because he gets a matchup today in the Detroit Tigers who strike out a ton. Dylan Cease, he's got that 23.2% K rate, 28.3% right against righties, however, and then he's got the 18.8 against lefties, and he really struggles against lefties. Righties he's much better against. So we prefer to target him in matchups that are very right-handed heavy. And when looking at the Detroit lineup today, they do have their fair share of lefties in there, but they're all lefties with high strikeout rates. And I just think you can go ahead and target him. He comes in as a 182 favorite. He's 8.5 on DraftKings. So you're going to get that price decrease and you get the matchup that you need for him to get the job done. So I think he's a good option, going down a little further in price on DK. And the next guy I have to mention is that in Kenta Maeda taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Kenta Maeda, looking at his numbers, he's got a 27.6% K rate, which is great. 14.6% swinging strike rate, which is impressive. And then he's got a 33.5% clip against righties and 21.6% against lefties. So we do prefer some righties when he's pitching out there. And, that's probably the one downside. This isn't really a right-handed heavy lineup. However, he is a 178 favorite, and these lefties do strike out. So while he's only got an 18% clip or whatever against lefties, I think we can live with that, being that, he's going to get to take on guys like Justin Smoke and Omar Narvaez, who can give him a few strikeouts. And then even Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich is an elite hitter, but he does have his fair share of strikeouts in his approach out there. And then lastly, we have to mention Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish takes on the St. Louis Cardinals. Comes in with a 30.5% K rate, 35.2 to righties, and then a 26.1 to lefties. So absolutely dominant against right-handed hitting. And when looking at the St. Louis lineup, you can see once again we aren't getting quite the amount of righties that we'd like. So these last few pitchers that we've gone over, their splits, they aren't ideal matchups. So you got to target the ones in the best matchups, and you got to target the ones with K upside. And Yu Darvish definitely has that. But I will mention he comes in at a 10.5 price tag, so you're going to pay for him. But he's been pitching real good, and I definitely think you have to have the interest. But I wouldn't blame you if you want to go ahead and go down to maybe like a Dylan Cease or someone else lower that we had already talked about because of Darvish's hefty price tag today. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down some bats we're going to want to target. And the very first team that stands out when looking at the board today, at the top here, is going to be that in the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland gets to go into Pittsburgh and take on Brewmaker, who, when we look at his numbers, he's only pitched 8 innings, so we're not dealing with a huge sample size, but we can go ahead and break down what we've seen so far. And he's given up a ton of slugging, not pretty, and specifically against righties. Lefties, he's been very good, actually. So, this is very small sample size, so let's not get too carried away. Overall, I would just take the fact that he's given up that high slugging and run with it, and know that these Cleveland bats have some guys with power, and know that they've had some guys that have been hot. Mainly Franmil Reyes. Kid's been unreal the last week or so. He's been popping off, hitting home runs left and right, and I think he's a guy to have interest in on DraftKings at 4.4 in the outfield position. And really just the core of this lineup, you got to love Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Carlos Santana. You like them. And then the guys that can slug, Tyler Naquin. Cesar Hernandez fills up a second base spot, and he's part of the stack if you want to throw him in there, but he's probably not the most elite second base option. And then you got Domingo Santana you could throw in there as well. And I would play Sandy Leon strictly because he's cheap and he could fill out the stack. Not someone I'm promoting from he's in a great spot or anything, but the price tag makes sense. And moving further along, the next bats that we're going to want to target are probably that in the New York Mets, who had a big night last night. Looked real good up there, and they get to take on Mejia today in this Miami bullpen. While Miami isn't the best hitting conditions, or the hitting environment, I should say, not the best hitting environment in Miami as far as ballpark's concerned. But, we saw last night, it doesn't matter when you hit the ball 400 feet, and the Mets definitely have some guys that can stay hot and keep producing. So, my main interest would be that in the middle of the lineup. The guys with power, Conforto, Cano, Pete Alonso, Dominic Smith, I like. That 4 through 7 range is a nice little stack. And then the guys at the top as well, you got to like and Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, and J.D. Davis. But It's probably depending upon who you're stacking on the other side or in your lineup, but I definitely like, my main targets would be the 1 through 7. And then Ahmad Rosario does have speed, so if you want to throw him at the shortstop position for some salary relief, I would understand that. Because he can put one in the gap, get some doubles, and steal some base. He's not the most elite bat, but he's someone that can fill out your stack for sure. And the next spot I'm going to have to mention is that in this Boston Red Sox game, if you look at the Boston weather forecast for today, we have 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to center in Fenway with 80 degrees weather. And that is some great hitting weather. So this game is really piquing my interest today. I think we're going to see some action, and when looking at the pitchers that are taking the mound in it, we have Zach Eflin and Zach Godley. So we'll go ahead and break these two guys down. Zach Eflin, when looking at his numbers, he's very average across the board, but he is good in the hard contact category. And then it's splits is where things get interesting. Righties, he's very effective, and then you go over to lefties, and he's not good at all. So Zach Eflin is a guy that you have to target with left-handed hitting, and we like targeting him with lefties. It's you feel pretty comfortable doing it, and then when you look at the weather today, I definitely like it. So guys to like on this Boston squad: Alex Verdugo, Rafael Devers, Mitch Moreland. I have a lot of interest in those guys, and then JBJ at the bottom, and Jonathan Aruz, I believe is how you pronounce that. Those are the guys you got to have interest in. He's very good against. I shouldn't say very good, but he's good against right-handed pitching, and the lefties he's not good. So you want to target those lefties, and those are the guys you're going to want to target today. And then obviously to finish out your stack, you can throw in JD Martinez and Xander Bogaerts. They're arguably the top 2 hitters in this lineup. So don't feel afraid to throw them in there to complete the stack, but you're definitely going to want to target primarily lefties. And going over to the Philly side, taking on Godley. You can see Godley's got a 5.31 ERA, less than good. And going over to righties, he's pretty good across the board, and then lefties is where it falls off a little bit. But even with that being said, his slugging, it's pretty consistent throughout the board. And when you look at the fly ball rates, it's actually worse against righties. So he's just kind of below average across the board is the best way to describe Godley. He doesn't have any major splits issues, but with that being said, that's great. We can just go ahead and target the best hitters. We don't have to worry about splits, and we want to target the middle of this lineup. So Didi Gregorius, JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, and McCutcheon, all great options. They appear to be priced up a little bit, but with these hitting conditions and the Red Sox pitching staff that we've been seeing really struggle lately, you gotta like the Phillies, and you gotta like the Red Sox. Like I mentioned, I really like this game. I'll go ahead and stack that up. I think that's a good call today. And then lastly, we do have a few more options I'm going to go ahead and run through. We have the Toronto Blue Jays taking on Wade Blanc and the Baltimore Orioles. And LeBlanc is a guy we can go ahead and target with really anyone across the board. He's a little better against lefties, but he's actually bad in the ground ball and the fly ball rates. And then against righties, he's just not good against as well. And when you look at his overall numbers, he doesn't get any swinging strikes. He doesn't strike anyone out. And the ground ball and the fly ball rate's bad, so we want to target him. And we want to target him with the right-handed hitters on the Blue Jays that can match lefties. So Randall Grichuk, Lourdes Gurriel, Teoscar Hernandez, Vladdy Jr., Danny Jansen, and Brandon Drury. Those are my favorite plays on that side. And then throwing Kevon Biggio to finish out your stack as a contrarian play because he's 5'2", he's priced up, and he's lefty, so he's not going to get a lot of ownership. And he still can crush here. So like that stack. And then, lastly, we have to mention when looking at the numbers, Josh Tomlin taking on the Washington Nationals. If you look at his numbers across the board, we're showing a lot of red. The ground ball and the fly ball rate are very bad. Moving over to righties, he's pretty bad across the board outside of the walk rate, which is great. We don't want him walking people. We want him throwing it to the bats to slug. And then the slugging and the ground ball rate are absolutely terrible. That's like scary red. So Tomlin is a guy that struggles against lefties. And we have some guys in this lineup we can definitely love today. And Adam Eaton, Juan Soto, Asdrubal Cabrera, Luis Garcia, and Eric Thames. Yeah, like the lefties a lot. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my home run call today. To wrap things up, and I have to go ahead and leave me feedback in the comments. If you like this home run segment, let me know how you feel about me picking elite hitters. If you want me to pick maybe an elite hitter and a low tier hitter every day. But I am 4 for 6 on my home run calls. We were 3-0 to start. We went on a 2-game skid, and then last night we nailed it with a Nelson Cruz call. So today, I'm just, fact and point here. You look at the splits and you look at how he is against left-handed hitting. And I'm sorry, but it's very hard to see a spot, where Juan Soto doesn't do some damage here. And Juan Soto is absolutely my favorite target to go yard today. That's just scary bad against lefties, and Juan Soto has been very hot, and he's going to be my home run call of the day. No doubt in my mind, he's going yard. He's my favorite play of the day. And just let me know in the comments how you feel about my home run picks. Do you like that I picked the most guarantee? Do you like that? Would you rather have me pick a low tier guy? Just let me know. I don't want you to think I'm just picking the best hitters in the league. I do try to back it up with factual evidence. In this case, with the splits and Soto's power, yeah, you got to like some Juan Soto today. So leave some feedback for me on that. If you want me to pick some, some sneakier plays, I can go ahead and start doing that. I don't have an issue with that. And with that being said, that is my breakdown of today's slate. If you enjoy the content, please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified on future videos. If you have interest in my Patreon package, I have added the Hot Hitter StatCast data tab, and I'll be adding improvements all throughout the season. The earlier you buy, the better the deal it will be, and I promise I'll keep working hard on that for you guys. And if you go ahead and purchase it, it supports me, and I greatly appreciate it. You can follow me over on Twitter at KJK DFS, and that is all from me. Get some Juan Soto in your lineups tonight. He's hitting at least 1 home run. Love the spot for Soto. And that is what I will sign off with. I wish you all the best of luck tonight, and have a good one.